decided to add a few months to my life.
There you go.
See, this one says, on the main side, it says January.
Scroll.
But see, it shows January 10 agenda.
Yeah, this is, let me see.
Yeah, this-
Where am I going?
Just scroll down.
We said, there you go.
Yep,
Where
so
am I going?
this goes with, one of the requests. I had sent it in an email, but this way you guys all have it. Yeah.
Great.
Can you pass them down, please? That was for, didn't get it.
Thank you.
It's back there. This goes with.
Good to go? Good evening, everybody. It's 5:30, and welcome to the March 20th, 2024 Downtown Development Board meeting. Can you hear me? Yep. These are brand-new mics. We have our technical support here. All's good. I ask that everyone silence their phones and cease private conversations. And members, please lean forward, although I don't think you have to as much, and speak clearly. I'd like to start introductions of members and ex officio members to my left.
Shahab Emrani.
Chiara Zaniboni.
Keenan Kinsel.
Mikhail Korotsov.
Lena Teixeira.
Excellent. Before we start, it is spring. Just want to say we have some Cub fans in the audience, so they're well represented even though they're playing in Arizona. Okay, now we can start. Corrections to the agenda. Item 1.A. Ms. Winters.
Okay, we had some corrections to the agenda that the board has to approve so that we can move forward. Item number 7 is a duplicate of item 5.3 and should be deleted. And item number 6 is incorrectly named as the director's report and should be the chair's report. And what I'm requesting the chair do is to request a motion approving these changes.
Can I have a motion, please, for these changes?
I propose a motion to make changes to to actually approve these changes.
I second it.
We have a motion from Shahab, a second from Mikhail. Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Minutes of previous meetings, 2.1. Thanks, Hannah.
This agenda item is to approve the minutes from last month's, which would have been February's Downtown Development Board meeting.
Thank you. Any corrections? How about a motion?
Sure, I propose to approve the minutes of February 7, 2024 meeting.
I second it.
I think we have a motion by Shahab, a second by Kiara. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. Here's the basic rules. Comments are limited to matters within the DDB district and the DDB can act on. Comments on items on the agenda will be held until agenda item is called. And speakers must identify themselves clearly for the record, and we have a time limit of 3 minutes that shall be enforced. Do we have any citizens? No, then I know we have a special situation. I'd ask Ms. Daniela to come on up. We have a request that somehow didn't get through my fingertips fast enough, so we're going to put it right here on the minutes to be heard. So thank you for coming.
Thank you. Yeah.
And do we have copies of this, Elise? Let us pass some copies around. And since you're from Italy, we have a special translation unit up here,
Yeah. I think
otherwise
also
known
the
as
translation here.
Doria and
Yeah, a lot
Chiara.
of translation today. Sorry for my English.
Totally
It's
fine.
not perfect.
No, it's citizens administrator. Please speak loudly
Okay?
so the people behind you can hear you too. It's tough.
Stop.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, you can start.
So, my idea for the development of the downtown was to do again, because it's not the first time that I do a fashion show, but this time there is the beautiful Coachman Park. So my idea was to do a big event for show our new collection, the winter, autumn-winter collection, of course, now. And I think this can be an opportunity for the people to come in downtown, to see all the other store and all the other activity that we can have, because a lot of people don't know downtown, really. I have also another store, and sometimes I invite the people from Bel Air to downtown, and they say, no, I don't know downtown. So I think we have to develop downtown in this way, in some different way, you know. Italian fashion is always a good way to bring people. And this was the first idea.
Perfect. Any,
I don't know if you have any question.
yes, any questions from the board?
Yes, of course. Can you give me a little bit more data rather than
Yeah.
just the fashion show? Can you tell us your thoughts?
Yeah, of course.
concept?
Yeah. I was thinking to bring from Italy, come si dice? Sì.
Okay. So she has a designer that is very famous that she will bring personally here and show the collection with unique pieces, and that will grow itself. We're expecting, hundreds to thousands of people. All right, just because of that. And she would fly in, all
From Italy.
accommodation, everything taken care of, and she guaranteed her to have a unique collection that she is gonna showcase here. So it will be a Clearwater only opportunity to actually be available and also meet her in person. So that's one. And then she has also
The other one.
purses. They're coming with leather, very specific ones, and that's a different line. And she's still working on a few more for shoes and jewelry and things more specific, but she doesn't have yet the 100% on those things. But the one for the clothing and so on is already like a done deal. She agreed, yeah.
What kind of the show is it gonna be? How is it gonna look like?
Well, it's a fashion show, so there are girls, come si dice,
So,
indossatrici
yeah.
che vanno
So
lungo il percorso
Yeah.
del teatro.
So she has a place where they're gonna be in the evening, and it's gonna be outside, and they have models that will showcase the dresses and everything, like really what we see in TV, but made outside. It's an open air event.
And have you done this before?
Yes,
Yes.
with
I
very
have
much
done.
success. Thousands of people. Sure. Yeah.
Interesting. Where did you do it?
So the last one she did was here.
When
and that-
for the grand opening.
Yeah, for the grand opening. So she had the mayor that cut the ribbon. That was the grand opening, and then later on.
I'm sorry, grand opening of what?
The store here downtown.
yeah.
Oh,
That
When I
will be-
open in downtown,
so you have a fashion store in downtown?
Yeah,
yeah,
Where is that, what's the name?
in the Osceola
Right by
Avenue.
the Capitol
Yeah.
Theater.
Downstairs, the Water's Edge building,
Oh, interesting, okay.
there, the first one. The other one is not in downtown.
And the other one is in Bel Air?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
that's open late.
And then, is it any specific brand of purses? Is it your own brand, or is it multi-brand
The-
store, or what is it?
The most of my brands are called Weekend. Isn't it? Is an English name, but is made in Italy.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's everything, just that
Everything
one
comes
brand,
from Italy.
and then you're gonna bring a designer that design your brand in Italy.
Yeah.
And that designer is famous in Italy.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's gonna arrive and he or she gonna host
Yeah.
the
She
show.
design, she create all the,
And
the
on
dresses.
on your previous show, you brought him or her as well. That what attracted
Yes,
1,000
it's
people.
the second time. She
Okay.
really liked the first one. So she told me after the pandemic, because there was if we can do a bigger one, is better, because bring more people, and this is the occasion to show our park. Yes.
Is the intention to do just one or every year?
No, I would like to do every year, because we have a new collection every year.
Okay.
So this would be, if we see that the people likes, it would be a great idea, I think.
And then you're requesting, from what I can see, so the total cost would be 60,000, and then the grant request is 40,000. What do you have? Why you're requesting that number? Do you have? Is that based on your previous show?
Well, of course, on my previous show, but this is a bigger one.
Okay.
So my previous was cheaper, a little bit cheaper, but this one I want to do because we have a great park.
Mhm.
So this is a perfect location for walk,
Right.
yeah. And so I think it's more expensive. Also, if she's coming from Italy, I have to, of course, sponsorize her for
Right.
travel, for the accommodation, and she bring all the new collection.
And then what kind of marketing are you planning on doing to attract people?
Well, I'm already doing, but I want to do Google, Facebook, Instagram, and I have also all the marketing for all my clients, because now I have more than 3,000 clients.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, 6 years of work.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So most of that money gonna be spent on bringing designer and the marketing?
Not the most. Most, no. Most is also to buy the collection, to bring the people, to pay, come si dice l'indossatrici?
The models.
The models. I have to pay the models. They have to be professional models, okay? So for everything, this can be the right price.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other, yes, Elise?
You
Sono finiti i minuti.
you be first, because
I apologize, I have an injury and I can't sit for long periods of time. I've already.
Did you want to, do you have a question, or?
No.
Oh. she
okay, I
just-
thought your hand going. What is going up?
No, she's
Okay.
got to stand.
This is an incomplete application,
Correct.
and the event is not until September, so she does have time to submit a complete application for the next meeting. And I think before a decision can be made, you need to have compliance with the application, including a budget that shows how the money is going to be spent.
I'm sorry, I'm a little new, so I might not
Our
be super
application
familiar.
consists of, if you look at, if you go to your agenda,
It's a 2-page application that also requires a budget to be submitted along with it.
Okay.
That lets staff know how they plan to allocate their funding, so that way we can make a recommendation to you. You know, when we receive an application that comes forward, generally we sit down with them to talk about what their event looks like. Per your policy, it's also required that they submit a special event application permit, which has not been done. So in having a conversation with Elise earlier today, that's my recommendation as well as staff, that we postpone this to a further meeting, which would allow for staff to have time to sit down, further fill out the application, get an understanding for their budget, so that way we can bring something forward.
And if it were an urgent matter, you know, it'd be a different situation, but with the event not planned until late September, getting it properly filed is not a, would benefit the
If
board.
I have a question. If there's, if they committed to, say, half in marketing, because that's the big concern for us, is to bring people downtown, right?
For sure.
If they committed to that, would we have time to create a contract and do this, or no?
That's, we still
To
have the problem
specify
in that
what-
she has said that's not what they need the money for,
Right.
okay? And that's why we need a budget to show how the overall funds, including your funds and your third-party funds, are being spent. We need to see what money's coming in and how it's going to be spent.
Basically, the point of us is to bring people downtown.
Yeah.
So if all the money goes to inventory or to the models
No,
and
no,
nothing
no,
to marketing,
not all, of
then
course.
it's not attractive to us. But if most of the money goes to marketing and you figure out the rest
Yeah.
of it, that brings thousands of people downtown, then the board would probably entertain it.
Of course, I was talking about, maybe not, is not the right word, inventory. I was talking about the dress that she make for the fashion show. So I don't know how to explain,
Sure.
but it's not my inventory. My
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
inventory
Okay, I
is
understand.
another one.
Sure.
The other issue is our contracts are based on them spending in accordance with their budget.
Say again?
Our
Right.
contracts are based on them spending in accordance with their budget, and they don't have a budget.
Okay, so we're gonna recommend you meet with staff, and they will help you create a budget and an application process that you can present at the next meeting. Is that okay?
When is the next meeting?
A few weeks, 2 weeks?
It'll be in April.
Pardon?
It'll be in April. We'll have a meeting in April.
Beginning of April, probably, right?
Okay.
Beginning of April, probably.
And they're very trained at guiding you through the budget and application process.
Okay.
Very helpful.
It's a great idea. I mean, I don't know anybody here who would not want
No,
that.
I'm interested.
In general, I think Clearwater really needs fashion, just in general, bringing in people
Yeah,
interested in
people
fashion.
likes.
I think it's a phenomenal idea, and I think it's very well that somebody's doing it is actually knows what they're doing, and especially bringing somebody from Italy, I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
So was this the only request, or there's another one?
There was another one.
This is from them also? Does it have a budget? The same objection is they need to do a complete application with a budget, or we can't even do a contract.
So,
I'm good, but I'm not that good.
so we're gonna, thank you for coming. We now know you and that you're a fashion designer and fashion show maker. So we can plan on having a big event this year. You wanted to have it in what month, September?
September can be great.
So you still
Yes.
have plenty of
Because
time.
Italy in August is closed, everything is in vacation in August,
Right.
so I cannot do in August.
I mean, it's very obvious that the city and the board wants to do more things downtown and in the park, so I think we just need to guide it a little bit to get some traction. But you definitely have the experience to pull this off, so thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. 4.1, new business items, the audit presentation.
Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My name's John Bromeyer. I'm a partner with Carr Riggs and Ingram. I'm here to present the audit for September 30, 2023. The Downtown Development Board produces a separate set of financial statements from the city. It's made in conjunction with the city's finance department. So they produce the financial statements. We then give an opinion on those statements. I'd like to thank Monica and her team for their help in preparing the statements, and then as well as executing the audit. We make several requests for documentation support, as well as analytics to get through our audit, so they're a great help to us. It's over there for you. As part of our audit, we issued 4 letters or 4 audit reports. The first one's going to be the independent auditor's report. That received a clean opinion, so an unmodified opinion that's the highest level of assurance any auditor can give you. The next one is the government auditing standards report. If there was any material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, or anything else to note as part of the financial statements, it would be in that report. Again, there's no findings, nothing to report in there. Next is the management letter. That's prescribed by the Auditor General of the state of Florida. No significant issues noted. The last one is the local government investment policies report. That states that the DDB participates in local investment pools in accordance with the state of Florida, Florida Statute 218-415. We had no adjustments as part of our audit. We had no audit findings, no internal control deficiencies or instances of noncompliance. Just some other communications to go through with you. The significant accounting policies can be found in Note 1 of the financial statements. There was no significant difficulties encountered during our audit. We had no disagreements with management. Actually, management is a joy to work with. We had no other findings or issues to note, no corrected or uncorrected misstatements. Had we done our audit and we found some issue and it was below a threshold, we would say it would be an uncorrected misstatement. We didn't have any of that. Issues discussed prior to our retention, we're not aware of any. And then internal control deficiencies, there are none.
Basically, Ann did a really good job.
Great job.
Good job, Ann.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Simple.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve the audit for filing?
I motion to approve the audit for file.
Beautiful. Second?
Second.
Motion by Chiara, second by Mikhail. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
See you next year.
Thank you.
4.2 financial statement for January. Ann Lopez.
Ann Lopez, CRA Senior Manager. This first item that I have before you is the statement of revenue, your expenditures for the month of January 2024. The board spent $29,530.97. Those are outlined in your agenda item, with an ending balance of $959,513.09, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I'm trying to open it, so if you
That's a
give me
question.
5-6 hours and I'll,
Got it. See you tomorrow.
You get 5 seconds.
no, wait.
Forever hold your peace.
Excuse me.
I'm good.
You're good? Wow. It passes the muster. Okay. Citizen comments? Can I get a motion?
I motion to approve the statement for January.
So we have a motion by Chiara to approve the financial statement, and a second by Mikhail. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Over to Elise.
Okay, the next group of items are all funding requests. So those of you who are here for them should really listen to this part. If granted, the funding is on a reimbursement basis and contingent upon execution and timely compliance with a grant funding agreement. Time is short to have these agreements signed, so I will have them completed tomorrow. Make sure I have your contact information so I can send it to you, and then we will arrange for execution in my office, which is on Drew Street. I've included my contact telephone number is 442-3888, and you'll get my email address when I email your copy to you for review, because it's a long one. The DDB's fiscal year ends on September 30th. Some of these events occur after September 30th. Legally, this board is not allowed to bind the board, the board beginning October 1st. But traditionally, we have approved events occurring in October, November, and December, because if we waited later to do that, you all wouldn't be able to rely on our funding for the events. The practical reason is the events may not happen if we didn't get an earlier decision. It's been a safe bet because generally when this board rolls over, it still has a majority from the prior board and they're willing to honor the prior decision. That's not going to be true this year, and we don't know how the future board, the new members of this board are going to treat these requests. We still are complying with tradition here and hearing these requests and granting those requests. We hope the council members will honor this tradition of letting you know early whether or not you're going to get the funding, but we can't guarantee that they will do so. If your event is after September 30th, I strongly recommend that you talk to them to make sure that the tradition stands. Staff recommendation, a separate issue. You'll notice that there are staff recommendations that don't match what you have requested. They are governed by the existing funding policy, which limits fundings to certain types of expenditures and caps those fundings for the funding for those expenditures. The policy allows discretion to the DDB to deviate from the policy, but reasons have to be given. Last month we did deviate from the policy, and the reasons were, there is one reason that covers any event. The rationale for the policy no longer exists because it was to provide consistency upon which grantees could rely and ensure that funds would be available for the full fiscal year. Board members coming in as of April, 5 of them have cited this policy and the failure to spend sufficient funds for events as the basis for taking over this board. Therefore, there is no longer a need or indeed a rational reason for applicants to rely on the consistent policy, as there will be no funding decisions from the current board after this meeting. The other reasons that were event specific were that the particular events approved last month were the justification for the deviation included the impact on families, the economic impact on the DDB district, and introduction of a demographic not previously targeted by the DDB. So there you have some of the reasons for deviation from the policy, including the overriding one where the policy is really not going to be effective after this month anyway. You have a time limit of 5 minutes for presentations. Questions from members will follow the presentation so they don't cut into your time. Okay.
Beautiful. The other thing is that we use the term policy lightly here. It's not really the law. It's just our guiding procedural rules, and they are subject to, if somebody like last month brings in a large request to change the dynamic of the veterans throughout Pinellas County or bring, literally tens of thousands of people downtown, we as a board can consider that. So keep that in mind. We're here to help make the downtown populated with a lot of good people. So that's why we're here. So thanks again for coming. So next up on the item list of the agenda is 4.3. Ann?
Ann Lopez, Senior CRA Manager. This item before you is to request approval of a special event grant funding for Summer Vibes Clearwater produced by ILDS Inc. in an amount not to exceed $9,150. This event will take place on April 6th, 2024, with an estimated attendance of 2,500 people. The ILDS Inc. estimates that the total budget cost for this event will be $13,250, with their contribution will be $7,250. Their ask of the Downtown Development Board is for $6,000, which will cover costs associated with an event DJ and projected city expenses. After review of their budget, that was submitted, staff felt that a higher recommendation was appropriate in coordination with the Downtown Development Board funding policy. Based on the DDB's funding policies, staff recommends funding this event in an amount not to exceed $9,150, which will cover $900 for a live DJ, $4,500 for projected city fees, and up to $3,750 in marketing through social media, photos, video, and an event intro reel. They have submitted a special event permit, and pending board approval, will complete a grant agreement that outlines the details of their event. Seeing as this event takes place in April, this will come out of the DDB's 23-24 fiscal year budget. And with that, I would like to introduce William Lewis with ILDS Inc. to talk about his event.
Thanks for coming, Mr. Lewis.
Good afternoon. My name is William Lewis. I represent I Love Driving Slow, INC-ILDS. It is an oxymoron. As we know, no one drives slow.
I love driving slow, too. People can attest to that.
But, the younger me, I worked for Progressive. I used to be on the causeway with everyone else, doing all that, staying up late. And I learned quickly that if my car was in an accident and I have to call a police officer, I'm out there street racing or I'm watching street racing, it just doesn't add up. So
This is recorded, just
yes,
so you know.
I never.
Somebody else might have been.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So with that said, we organized I Love Driving Slow to be a safe driving movement. We'd go to Bradenton Road Motorsports Park. That's where we'd race on the track, and that's what the focus was. We found the love of doing car shows, and the first car show we did here in the Tampa area was at the Tampa Executive Airport. After that, we went to Ybor City, we went to Lakeland. We do a big event called Winterfest at the Lakeland Sun and Fun. So just to give you a background, we host car shows. So Coachman Park was re-envisioned last year, and I've been looking at the progression and, came downtown. I was like, wow, the world needs to know about this. So I went through the process with the special events, and we're on our way. We're going to do the event, but we had the opportunity to work with the development board, and we thought, why not make the event better, attract more people? So it is called Summer Vibes Weekend with two elements. The first element would be Clearwater, and the second element would be Ybor City. So Ybor City last year had over 4,000, 5,000 people on 7th Avenue between the hours of 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. So our expectation with the people that are coming into the city from Miami, Jacksonville, all over, it would be easy to have them have something to do Saturday night or afternoon, because we were planning this to be more of a sundown event because it's going to be hot. It's called Summer Vibes in Spring because it's always summer here.
Right.
So the initiative is to get those people to stay between the Tampa Clearwater area, kind of get a better experience, and we're building it, like I said, a summer vibe.
Beautiful. Board questions?
Yeah, can you tell us what type of cars or?
Certainly. So many different flavors. You could have a Porsche, you can have a modified Honda, American muscle car. We have, like I said, many different flavors. We want them to be modified. So like your stock car that you never drove for the last 30 years, depending on what it is, it may not get selected. So all the cars are selected because we want it to be picturesque. That's why we're using the park, because it has the nice backdrop. The sun drops behind the bridge.
I know it's in there, but how many cars, roughly?
So that was the fun part. So since I was working with Ian, it's changed a lot. The city, special events in the city and safety. And so right now we're around 100 or so cars, which is roughly around the same amount of cars we will have in Ybor as well.
But we're not financing Ybor.
You're not.
Okay, good.
You're not. I'm just giving that as a relevant that I know it will work.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my assurance.
Other questions? Kiara?
Yeah, so the event is going to be at the park or is going to be in Cleveland or going to?
So a little bit more dynamics. They don't want cars on the grass in the park, so we leverage the Cleveland extension, and then even in front of the Capitol Theater, we'll have some of the cars parked there, just to really stage the event. I want someone that parks in the parking garage, that walks over, sees the restaurants. Oh wow, there's cars, and we're working on getting better signage because that's one of the biggest issues here. If you're not familiar with the area, you don't know where to go. And the GPS sends you down Drew Street, and you're like, wait, where am I? So we're working on all that, and with the help of Ann and the Development Board, we want to put those funds where they need to be.
Questions? Others? Thank you for your presentation.
5 minutes?
Citizen comments? No?
Thank you.
Can I get a motion?
Sure. Sounds good. I remember we used to have these in downtown, but it's been a while, so we get to invite another one and roll with it. So I propose a motion to approve the I Love Driving Slow project.
For the amount on the not to exceed 9150?
Correct.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
So we have a motion by Shahab and a second by Mikhail. Any further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Congratulations, sir. No electric vehicle scooters. That's right. Okay, so 4.4 apparently is withdrawn.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome.
So 4.4, the Hispanic Organization Network of Resources Group application withdrawn.
Yes, so I spoke, or I received an email from Dina Ramos, who was the person who submitted the application on behalf of the honor group. She is no longer part of that group, and so I've spoken with them. They're working on some restructuring, so they have asked to pull their request, and we'll work with them to bring their request forward at another time.
Beautiful. So 4.5, Food from the Soul Festival. Ann Lopez.
So this approval request is for Food from the Soul Festival. This is produced by IVJ Inc. PRETI Foundation in an amount not to exceed $25,000. This event will take place November 2nd, 2024 in Coachman Park with an estimated attendance of between 1,500 and 2,000. With Food from the Soul Food Festival and Competition will be a family fun day that features various cuisines, including caterers, food trucks, restaurants, and startup businesses. The applicant estimates that the total budget cost for this event is $200,000, with their contribution will be $60,000, and are asking the Downtown Development Board for $140,000 to cover costs associated with media buy/marketing, talent, and additional production expenses. Based on the DDB's current policy, staff is recommending an amount not to exceed $25,000, which covers $15,000 in marketing, $5,000 in entertainment, and $5,000 for city fees. Those attachments have been provided to you. There were glitches in the system with the agenda. It could totally have been operator error on my part. I may have forgotten to attach them. I'll admit that. So I did provide copies for everybody, and with that, the applicant has submitted a special event application with Parks and Recreation, and pending board approval, will complete a grant agreement. I would like to note that funds for this grant will be available in the marketing category and will be part of the FY 24-25 budget, pending approval of the budget and allocation of funds for 24-25. And with that, I would like to introduce Ms. Kim Jackson, who will be able to answer any questions.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Let me get your video going. There you go.
Hi, my name is Kim Jackson, and it's actually KVJ INCPR. It's the initials of my name, because when I started 20-something years ago, we had those big business checks, and so when I show an ID, no one questioned that was actually my business. And Food from the Soul Food Festival is a festival that highlights food from, we have it broken down to African, African American, Asian, Caribbean, Hispanic, and Native American. There's a competition part, and they're also selling. And we also have businesses, small businesses who sell anything from jewelry to fashion We have books, I mean, anything you can think of, those small businesses are there, because majority of the businesses that we do have that come to the festival do not have brick and mortars. They have mom and pop, they're doing it at festivals. So one of the good things I do believe, as of riding around downtown, we can showcase the fact that I've seen a lot of open space for business, for brick and mortars. So hopefully them coming in can see that. And also, what I love about this festival and what I think is most important about it is it exposes a whole nother cultural aspect and bringing in people into this area. Because most people go directly to the beach. They don't come here. And so what I did is I took time to walk up Cleveland and talk to a lot of the business owners that are here. And pretty much everybody agreed to do cross promotion with me and everything. Just wait a little later. They said I came a little too early for them to remember. But I did get a warm response from them for everything. And me personally, my background, I've worked with this, I've had contracts with the City of Tampa, City of Orlando, City of Bartow, Polk County School Board. I've worked in 3 Super Bowls with the NFL Youth Clinic, 01 in Tampa, 04 in Houston, and 05 in Jacksonville. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my wits around. Can you give us a little bit of an idea on the expenses, the $140,000, where they get spent on?
Well, majority of them will be on marketing and our media buy. Because last year we did a full, it was just social media and we had some media buy-in. And we got quite a few of all our vendors came from Miami, Daytona, Orlando, Jacksonville. The winner of the competition came from Elgin, South Carolina. So we already know we're pulling people in the state and across the state. So the reason why we want to increase our media budget, because I want to expand across the United States and hopefully get international buy-in too.
I see, okay.
And then plus all our vendors that follow over, with insurance and bartenders. We have a sommelier that does, she's a certified 3 double J set level sommelier that does our VIP, and she'll be exposing those VIP to 5 different wines of those different ethnicities. And then our bartender, CJ from Booze and Bozo, she'll do the spirit section in the second one. So, and then plus our entertainment, DJ, we have different artists, whether it be dance, other bands, that'll be there on that day.
Is there a breakdown of that? Do we have a breakdown for that?
Of her budget, it's attached to
Okay.
the attachments that I
Right.
provided you.
And then can you tell me, how many of these have you done?
This will be the second one. The
Okay.
first year we had in Tampa at Perry Harvey Senior Park. And from my understanding, from what the Parks and Recs told us, normally a first year festival gets maybe 100, 150. We were over 500 people on the first time out. So I know if we put more money into our marketing and our Instagram, because we already have a dedicated Instagram and Facebook, Food from the Soul Festival, and the website is the same thing, we can pull in a larger crowd. And plus, with the beach, close to the beach, people will make it a vacation instead of just coming in and coming out.
Right.
And with our buy-in with the businesses that are close and surrounding the park, we can get people to not just go to the beach, but also look at downtown. And especially, I'm very passionate about our businesses because a lot of them are talking about they're trying to find affordable brick and mortar, for them to have their business. Like, they love the festival thing, but they want to get stationary, especially some of the food trucks, because you're limited, extremely limited in space, and you can't do the full menu like you want to in a brick and mortar, so. And even some are talking about co-oping places, so.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, few.
Were you done?
Sorry.
Yeah, this is great. I'm piquing my interest.
My question was, so first, you mentioned you've talked to the business owners in downtown.
I just want to put, just talking to them and see would they be interested in doing would this be an event that they would be interested in attending? Would they like to do cross promotion? Would they like to have a table at the venue? So would they want to put some information, because we will have recyclable bags to all of our attendees, so they can put something, business information about their business in the bag.
What did they say?
And everybody was, yeah.
Yeah?
Because they were all like, yeah, just remind me a little later on, because it's a little early. But I like to do things early because I know with us attracting people out of the state, they need time to also plan to be here and come, and I need to make sure I have a host hotel so that they can stay. And also, I'm working with Nick and the fire inspector for Clearwater Fire and Rescue, so that, especially those, to make sure those inspections, because some people are in tents, some people are in food trucks, and make sure we have the right rules and everything for our vendors.
So who are the vendors? Were they, like, they're just local restaurants and food trucks?
Oh, no, we went from Tampa, Miami, Daytona, Orlando, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama.
Oh, so they just all come basically and doing
And
like food show?
when the festival was going, we're getting response, and currently I have quite a few people that are ready for this year because we gave a cash prizes away for the competition. So now people are like, oh, you're giving money. So yeah, we did that.
Thank you. I would personally suggest and ask if you can work. It's great that you already went and talked to our local restaurants, but I would love.
Oh, it wasn't just the restaurants. I went to the businesses too, whether they were a restaurant or not. I was down Cleveland Street talking to all the people that are in the first 3 blocks from the park. And because they would be the most impacted when people are coming in, because people are already parked, and depending on where they're parking, they'll walk and they're gonna pass these places. So I just did the first 3. I could probably do more and a little more surrounding on Osceola, anywhere like that. But I just did a sampling just to have some idea of how this would be received and if it would be a good partnership.
Right, but that's mainly a food festival, is that correct? Or
Well, we're mainly a food festival. We had 22 non-food vendors last year, and we will be increasing this year. Because like I said, there are people, they do all these food festivals, so they can save up money to ultimately either to get a majority of them want a brick and mortar. So we don't just do food. We do this, we have even insurance companies, because some of them, oxymoron, we're eating a lot of high-calorie food. So, we did have a life insurance person there and someone with health insurance, so, hey.
Right.
Very smart. I want in on that action.
Are these paid attendance?
They pay a small fee, and competition pay a fee, and we use that money plus sponsorship money towards the prize money.
How about the attendees? People-
Attendees, yeah, we have a general admission, and then we have a VIP experience.
I see. So it would be an isolated space?
Well, you guys have some space already, I guess at the top area, that would be the first VIP, and then, because I don't know if the map was attached and everything, and you can come down, and we would do another lower, that would be the second VIP area. And yeah, they would be separated, but they'll have guaranteed seating, and those that would general admission in our ticketing, we tell them, please bring a chair like you do at maybe Clearwater Jazz, because seating is limited. And also, one of our main already committed media sponsors is Tampa Bay
We have a
Times.
few more questions for you.
Yeah,
Kiara,
sorry.
Are we
That's
done
fine.
for the moment? We'll come back.
That's all right.
We'll come back.
I'll write up.
Kiara has some questions.
Here on the budget, you have $60,000 to pay all the communication, chair rental, audio visual, and so on. Then there is $35,000 for marketing, media by marketing deliverable, and 15,000 for the talents. This doesn't add to 140,000. Does not.
No, because my buy-in will be 60,000 out of the 200,000.
Yeah, exactly. 200,000 minus 60 is 140 that you are requesting.
Yeah.
But this sum, they go to 95 plus 15 is 110. So I'm missing $30,000 that, and also what you are buying in on these numbers.
I put in it said in kind, that's more of my buy-in.
The in-kind?
Yeah, I'll be
Meaning-
paying for that. I'm not requesting that
You're
money
paying
from
for
you
No,
guys.
I completely understood that, and that's very clear. But because you said on the statement before that the majority of this $140,000 request, it's marketing, I don't see that number on this.
Ann, can you help clarify?
I'm trying to,
Okay, maybe
Pull
when
it
I
up in
first
with
admitted, but I know there
yeah, I'm
was
trying to
Hold on
pull
one
up
second.
what she submitted and see if maybe there was a,
Maybe there's another page that
Error
we are
when it-
missing.
We
when
just
it
got to
prints
make
us
sure
up.
that if we approve this, it will roll through and you won't run into glitches because we,
Yeah.
it has to.
Well, I've
be-
been
We are
kind of
not
on the
gonna be here.
glitches when they put up my stuff, so it's been kind of a glitch movement right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure,
While they're looking at the numbers, I have a question for you. Of the marketing money, where are you going to invest it to bring more people downtown?
well, I'm using the Spot Marketing as my media
Spot?
buyer. The Spot Marketing, they've been a media and buying media nationally and internationally,
So
locally.
they
to-
will focus on
they'll
Tampa
be-
Bay?
Not just Tampa Bay area, but we're gonna move through the
So
state
you want,
and
you want
cross
people
the
to drive in
country.
and fly in?
Yes.
Okay, and
'Cause this
do you
is-
know if it's going to be radio or
Yes,
Google or
right now,
Facebook
I'm
or
in,
what the breakdown is?
Well, I don't have the full breakdown yet because I didn't know what my budget will be. And so this is an estimation, but no,
How
once I
much
know.
of that buy to Spot Media will go to actual advertising versus to them to manage it?
Well, the way they have it set up is they get their money from whoever they purchase the media from.
They get it backside?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Did you find it?
We have just
Elise?
confirmed on what she has submitted, we've got 60 grand on expenses. We've got 35 on marketing, and we've got 15 on talent. That equals $110. I mean, $110,000.
I wish it was $110.
$110,000.
We can approve the
There's
100.
there's not $140,000 on this budget.
Well,
Okay.
I'm sorry if I made a mistake in
And
adding
I
that, so-
can't do a contract based on a budget that we give them more than their budget to spend.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry if I made a mistake.
Hold on, let us talk this out. Do we have more questions for Ms. Jackson at
I
the
mean,
moment?
is
said
this
it's
the,
a-
if
You
this
said
is
it's
correct,
115, I can add that extra 25 to go into my media budget. Maybe I made a mistake when writing the numbers on there.
Hold on
and
one
didn't add
second,
it.
1 second.
Okay.
Thank you.
we're short 30 grand. And that's without you putting a penny in, you just being in kind. I have to plan the contracts based on your budget, and I can't show us paying you, particularly since it's reimbursement, paying you more than you budgeted or spent.
Okay, well, maybe that was the mistake what I wrote on the media part. That's why I assumed the majority would go to the marketing and publicity of this, so that 30,000 would go, that missing 30,000 I didn't put on there would go into the marketing department. So I can go international with this.
Okay, so.
So can I do it, do I need to do an amended?
Hold on 1 second. We've got a ways to go yet. Just
Okay.
let us guide you a little bit.
Okay.
Take a moment, and we're going to have a board discussion, and then we'll
Okay.
probably bring you back up. But thank you for your presentation. So, first off, is there any citizen comments? No? Okay. How about we talk this out a little bit? Elise?
Okay. Right now, she's got a budget of $110,000.
Right.
And her in-kind contribution. It's broken up, 60 in expenses, 35 in media, and 15 in talent. We have never amended a budget at a meeting before. I don't know of any prohibition against amending a budget at a meeting. But if we do, the contract's going to be written so that there is no reimbursement unless they spend that amount. So unless she knows that she's going to be, this company knows that it's going to be spending 65 grand on media and can show us receipts for spending 65 grand on media. There are two things you can do. You can table it and ask her to complete her correct and complete her application and bring it before the next meeting. Or you can ask that she agree to amend this application to add the additional 30 to the media, with the understanding that if that's not spent, that's not reimbursed. But that's, our contract says that anyway. You only get what you spend.
Right. Okay, board, anybody else want to weigh in on this?
No, sounds good.
Sounds good.
My one thing I don't really understand is if it's going to be happening on a weekend, for instance, then we have a lot of food vendors next to our restaurants, and if our restaurants are not participating, we are literally bringing people in, and that particular day, restaurant's not going to make any business. And in my perspective, it's very crucial for us to approve it if our restaurants participate in it. Because I don't want to distract business from downtown restaurants.
So they get first option to participate?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
That's
That
fair.
would be my perspective on it.
Good idea.
Other than that, I think it's great.
Yeah, but I see events happening at the Sound that they're not included.
That's right, but my point is that if we do that all the time, if we bring in food or
Right.
anything else to downtown Clearwater that distract people from going to our local restaurants will start moving somewhere else.
That was my exactly first thought.
Good point. Good point. Yes, Ann?
Just a comment to that. So Vicky Shire, who is one of our CRA managers, is also on the special events committee. Anybody who does an event in downtown, as they go through their event checklist, one of the people that they have to contact is Vicky. And we reach out, we meet with them, Mr. Lewis with the car show, we met him at Coachman with, all the other departments. The first thing that we ask is that if you are doing an event downtown, you work with all of our merchants. Restaurant, retail, whatever. You go out to them, you tell them about your event, and you find a way to work with them. Last year when Jazz Holiday came forward, that was our ask to them, is if you are going to have food vendors, you start with what we have available downtown before you look at bringing in external, whether it's food trucks or other vendors.
So they get
That's
first-
always what we ask of
So
them.
they're getting first option?
Yes.
And how does it usually end up?
We have some they've participated. I know Clear Sky participates in some of the markets in Coachman. We have had some, I know in past Downtown Pizza's participated in events. So they do participate, and whether it's having a tent or a table down there to do food, or it's, listen, what I really would like is just to provide you with marketing materials, we always, that's always the first thing that we ask, right? Whether it's support for DDB or support as CRA, is you work first with the restaurants and the retail that we have
Also,
surrounding
I
the
can
park.
attest that when there's a big event in the park, they do get spillover. If you talk to the owners, they do receive spillover traffic. I don't know how much, but
For
they
sure,
do.
it's just if they receive the traffic that is full,
Correct.
and then they don't want to eat anymore.
But if they get first option and,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
And-
And they
and
were
I-
talking about 4 or 5 restaurants.
And I actually ran into Miss Jackson the other day when I was having lunch at Chiang Mai. And she was having lunch, and that's what she was doing. She was canvassing the street, she was talking to all the merchants, letting them know about her event. So, I will tell you, she is doing her due diligence on that.
Perfect.
She did miss my office. I just want to, you have to bring food over now. I want some of this soul food in my office, from the post office.
You charge them double.
That's right, that's right. So if we were to approve this, Elise, we have to modify the request based on.
She has to, we either have to limit the request to the 110 she's showing.
Okay,
She has to agree to modify her request to make it 65,
Ms.
or you
Jackson?
need to move it to the next meeting when she can complete her application.
Jackson, we have a couple more questions for you at the podium. Thank you. Would you be willing to make those concessions?
I can modify it this evening and
Just
send
to
it.
make sure,
I can modify my budget and have it to Ann, because that's whose contact information I have, and have it to you this evening.
so you'd be willing to modify the request based on the concessions that Elise just talked
If
about?
she said I need to add
You
the
would be
30,000.
making, you would be putting an additional 30 grand in your advertising budget, and as we did last month, that 30 grand would be targeting generally our downtown district,
We want people to come
making
here.
you advertise what's the downtown district and how this affects the downtown district.
Yeah.
And that's how the contract would be
So
written.
you'd be open to that?
So you're saying I need to spend the money within the downtown, oh, no, use
Tampa Bay to
advertising.
bring people.
Well, the thing is, that is
To
my
bring
whole
people
thing,
to
to bring
downtown.
people here to the festival, but not only the
We
festival.
haven't had
but-
much luck with fly-ins, put it that way.
Well, I'm planning to be this an annual thing and hopefully
We're
expand
talking
it to
about
community.
advertising in Chicago to bring people here, we haven't had much luck with that. But if you
Well,
market
I'm gonna
across,
say, I market Tampa Bay area.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then I also extend out. Our social media goes far.
I
That's
think
how
that's
we
what we're asking you to request, to
Well,
change.
Well, okay, I can change. I guess I didn't break it in detail. So do you want a breakdown of the areas that I will be marketing to? Or do you want me just to add the 30,000 to the budget? Because when we market Tampa Bay area, of course, it's gonna be the majority, because we wanna bring that's the closest market there.
Hold on, let me answer that. The contracts can be very specific that you
Okay.
sign. We just want to get your general agreement tonight.
Okay.
Because when we make a motion and approve it, the contract's about to change based on
Okay.
your budget changes.
Okay.
So go ahead and repeat what you said,
All right.
please.
Your marketing is of your event. Your event is located in the first 3 blocks of,
It will be at Coachman Park.
pardon?
Coachman Park.
Coachman Park, okay. We always require that you have the DDB in your marketing as
Oh,
one of the.
you guys will be
okay,
like,
but that's-
you will be on
but-
not only marketing, but you will be on my
Let her- let
website
her
and
finish,
everything.
please.
But, for instance, the Veterans Group last month had an event in the Sound and a parade. The additional marketing, since the parade our businesses are located in downtown, not in Coachman Park. So that marketing was for the parade and the downtown area. So somehow tying your marketing into, the additional marketing into the downtown area outside of Coachman Park.
Yes, that's why I went to the businesses. I said, you can put, if you want to just put information within our recyclable bags that we give to all of our attendees. If you want to have a table there, you're open to it. So we're bringing them into the park one way or the other, so.
Okay. The other option you have is limiting your ask, not increasing the marketing, but limiting your ask to the 110 that shows up in your budget now.
I'll make the amendment.
Pardon?
I'll amend the budget and get the budget to Ann this evening.
So we table it now?
Okay, so thank you for coming back up. We're going to discuss some more. Thank you. You have a question?
So we tabled the request for now, and waiting for the?
That's up to you to make a motion, I think. But you're leaning towards tabling the motion.
I mean, I just don't really, like, she wants to amend the request, she wants to add changes to it. I mean, I like to approve it, like, I like the idea. My point is that how can we approve something that is not?
You can approve a motion of half of this if you want to, or you could recommend a motion for half of this or some other form.
Got it.
The staff has recommended not to exceed 25,000. She's requesting 140, but the budget's 110.
Right.
So I think we.
You can do anywhere in between or, and if you are making your motion, it should specify, if it's different than what's in the budget, you should specify with such, as the staff does, with such and such going to marketing, such and such going to talent, such and such going to,
Right.
that sort of motion is what you should.
When
If
the-
you want to move forward now, if you want to table it and ask her to complete her application, that's another motion. If you want to say no, that's a motion. It's wide open, okay?
Thank you.
You just can't make a motion to give 110,
Yeah.
application 140.
Right. I mean, I want to help them, so in general, approving half of the budget, if they're not going to be able to make that event happen with the half of the budget, or if they wouldn't be able to make that event happen with 25,000, staff is recommending, that would be, like, I do want this event to happen, I do want to help them, but I guess I don't really understand, I mean,
I guess we can approve it that with an agreement, that she adds the 35 into the presented
market.
budget, brings it up to 140, and then we make a motion to, based on that.
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
Why don't we do this? Let's get a motion, then we can discuss the motion, and it doesn't have to be approved. It can be approved or not.
You can make a motion without voting for it. You can put a motion on the table for discussion.
Correct.
That's why even though you make the motion, you still have to vote.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want to specify a motion to get it in and out of the way, go for it.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'd like to propose a motion that we just add shorting the 30,000 missing into this budget so we can actually go forward and discuss it.
So we have a motion by Shahab to bump up the ask to so that it can be
She-
contracted
The
correctly.
budget to,
And we
Yeah.
have a second
Add the
by,
30,000 into this budget, so,
Kiara.
because she's agreed to it.
okay,
Yeah.
so we have a motion, we have a second by
Yes.
Kiara. And let's discuss that for a moment. So was that clear to you, Elise?
The motion is that the budget be increased by 30,000 in marketing targeted at downtown, so that the overall approval is an amount not to exceed $140,000.
correct.
We always say not to exceed, because if you don't spend everything you're asking for, we don't pay you. Okay?
So my concerns on this, fellow board members, would be I didn't hear a lot of specifics on the actual advertising and marketing that are going to bring thousands of people downtown, which I know we'll hear soon from Jazz Holiday and others. I heard 1,000 to 2,000 people. That's a lot of money for 1,000 people. So if the marketing can be shifted specifically, 140,000, if 70,000 is going to advertising and marketing, then that probably would change the numbers, is my guess.
Yeah, I agree, because last year the event was a success, but she had 500 people. I don't know how much she spent on the event of last year, and especially on the
5,000.
marketing. Eh?
She said 5,000.
I
I think it
understood
was
the
500.
500? Okay, my bad.
Okay,
So,
When is that event happening?
November.
so it's in
Anyway,
November,
if
which
we
is into the
increase-
it's into the next council's.
Keep in
Budget.
mind, if, traditionally, you all approve events that are happening in the next council year, but you need to keep it reasonable enough so that the next council isn't going to say, were you kidding?
Well, that's
Yeah.
true.
Can they override?
Pardon?
Sure.
Can,
They don't
the
have
override-
it.
If it happens after September 30th, they're not bound,
Okay,
okay? We have traditionally approved these things because we knew we had a majority of the board moving forward and that they would honor that decision. But, because otherwise we'd have no events in October and November, which is our busy time.
yeah. I
All
agree.
right, so, but if you're going to expect the next council in the next fiscal year to honor it, it's got to be something that they can support, something you can support.
I would like to add to that. I think historically, from what I know, when there's this type of a request, we're expecting tens of thousands of people to
Yeah.
attend. And I don't see that yet. I love the idea. I think it'd be fantastic, especially annually. But I think this thing has to be massaged a little bit more like the other request earlier. And my recommendation would be to come back and push it and let them re-ask after they sort out the budget and get more specific with the advertising and marketing to prove thousands of people are going to come.
Right.
That's just my 2 cents.
Sure.
Yep.
I don't disagree with that.
Reasonable.
So we're going to,
Well, you're going to have to vote on the motion on the
so
floor.
I'm going to now call a vote for the original motion.
Yeah.
All in favor of the original motion? All opposed? Opposed.
Opposed.
So that original
Aye.
motion is
It's being canceled.
disapproved. Do we want to entertain another motion now or push this to the next council?
To the next council.
Next time.
So, Ms. Jackson, we want to thank you for coming. We love your project, but I want to come back up here. I want to make sure you understand that we're not actually able to commit to November anyway. So it's going to be really good for you to sort out a few things and come back to the next council and present again. Is that okay?
Okay, that's my choice.
Well, it's just want to make sure you understand why.
No, I understand.
Okay, and that we love the idea, but with $100,000, normally 10, 20, 30,000 people show up. So if we can figure out how to, if you can figure out how to do the advertising and marketing to make that happen, I would imagine, I can't
Well,
speak for
this-
the next council, but I would imagine they would be
Well, the
fully on
smart
board.
marketing would give us, provide a full marketing sheet of everybody they bought media from. So that was what I was gonna use to back up as far as, it'll be part of the receipts. So everywhere they spend money at, between TV, radio, print, and, social media, we will have a whole breakdown of every market and what media outlet that they use.
My recommendation will be that you bring those people with you to the next meeting when you present and let them sell the next council on how many people they can bring to downtown. Because if they bring a lot of people downtown, more than likely, again, I can't speak for the people that will be sitting in that meeting, but more than likely they'll be in favor of that.
Because this council is changing, so if we approve it, it's going into the next group, and since the dynamic has changed,
But our advertising would have been starting already, because we're starting in April to advertise for November, because we have a lot of people coming from out of town. So
Understood.
once I leave here, I'm hitting the ground running already. And that's
See-
why I'm working with fire and rescue to make sure we have the proper rules about when we're going in. And that's why I went and was talking with the businesses and see, can we do partnerships and everything like
So
that.
we're not gonna approve it tonight, we're just giving you some insight as to how you can get it approved next
so
month.
that would be a couple weeks.
So I would suggest you come back,
I don't know if the Spark Marketing can come, because she lives out of state, so it will be me by myself.
That's
Or
all right.
maybe they can give you more information.
Maybe they
more
can do like a
details.
little video where that can show up. I would suggest you come first thing in October, in April, because we're gonna have a meeting probably early April, the next council will, and just provide the details that were mentioned, and I'm pretty sure that thing will be approved, because in generally, we'll have the idea, so you can start your marketing in April if that's gonna be approved, because the next meeting will be early April, most likely.
Can you come back in a couple weeks?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Great.
beautiful. Thank you for
Thank you
coming.
very
Thank you
much.
for your time. We love the idea. Okay, 4.6, salsa at the district.
The request that we have forward is for Florida Best Promotions for Salsa at the District Oktoberfest in an amount not to exceed $25,000. This event will take place at the 600 through 500 blocks of Cleveland Street and in Station Square Park on Saturday, October 12th, 2024, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., with an expected attendance of approximately 5,000 people. Salsa at the District Oktoberfest will include an immersive experience of rich cultural dance community, a rich local dance community, and a culture that appeals to the Latino community. Based on the Downtown Development Board's funding policy, staff is recommending funding this event in an amount not to exceed $25,000, which will cover $15,000 for marketing, $5,000 for entertainment, and up to $5,000 for city fees. The maximum amount that staff is recommending for city fees does not include coverage for their mitigation, which is a separate line item on their budget, as this has not been approved by the Clearwater Police Department per the DDB's policy. So that is not included in my recommendation tonight. The total cost for Salsa at the District Oktoberfest is $205,000. They are requesting a total of $195,000. They have submitted a special event grant application, and they have also applied for the City of Clearwater's High Impact Event Co-Sponsorship through Clearwater Parks and Recreation Department. This grant, if approved, would come out of the DDB's FY 24-25 budget, again, pending board approval of budget and allocation of fundings. And with that, I would like to bring forward Mr. Richard Del Rio.
Welcome back, sir.
It's good to be back.
Bringing more dance downtown?
It's my thing.
That's
I
what
love
you
to
do.
dance. Excited to present to you guys about the October event. We've now been down here, has it been 4 years? 3 years? 4 years? Time goes by fast. But we're excited about October's event, and we really want to make the next event a flagship event for the city of Clearwater. We think we've done the work and proven that we we can pull this off, and we'll show you some of the stuff you've seen. Our goals haven't changed at all. Florida Best Promotions has a vision to make Clearwater a dance destination for people all over the world, and we have a plan to do that. Overview of the event is October 12th, 2024, from 6 to 11. Advertising channels would be social media, email, text, digital, outdoor print, radio partnerships, collaborations, and content creation and SEO. Estimated attendance, what we've been averaging is about 5,000 people. If today's budget is approved, we think that we will, we think we'll really exceed those numbers. Total marketing budget is $100,000 that we're asking for. This year's grant request would solidify Southside the District as a flagship event for the city of Clearwater. 40% of that $100,000 would be spent in digital marketing, 20% in social media, content creation and SEO, 10%, email marketing, 10%, print and outdoor advertising, 10%, partnership and collaborations, 5%, analytics and tracking, 5%.
The digital would be Google.
Google, it could be digital radio, YouTube, other channels besides just social media, digitally. I think digital is the way to go. I presented on my last event. This is our marketing strategy. It's the same strategy we've been using since 2014. It works. It helps us to determine exactly where the people are coming from. I can give you a list of zip codes of people who have come here, and I think you guys have seen the slide, but I'll show it to you again. These are some of the sample ads from last October, which we would create a lot of the same type of content, obviously different because we have different entertainment, different plans for this event. So those designs would be different. And this was the slide I was telling you about. So last October, with the budget we had, we were able to, if you look at this slide, you can see where we were able to attract people from. We had about 5,000 people. 3,000 of those people came directly from our digital marketing campaign. And that is how we're able to tell exactly where they came from. So that slide was pretty powerful. Again, like I told you guys before, 10% of our people came from Clearwater area. 90% came from outside of Clearwater, which is a huge number. The vast majority of the registrants or the data that we got came from our digital campaign, 83%.
Wow, which makes sense to spend majority on that,
Yeah.
if it's working.
It's working, and we've proven with our previous grants that this plan works, and if we fund it more, it's just gonna grow, you know. This year's entertainment, we're asking for $80,000 in entertainment. This is an estimate. We're going to start, if we get the approval, we're going to start looking at booking agents, see who's touring in the area at that time. So that number could change, but you guys pay this based on reimbursement anyways. So if it's not spent, you don't pay it.
And this is, you have another business, correct?
I do have another
So
business.
this is a kind of a secondary business.
Yeah,
It's not your
it's a
sole, it's not
passion
your
of
sole
mine.
income source is my point. You want to just boom and create the Latin vibe in Clearwater.
Yeah, this is a passion of mine. I used to be a teacher. I love the salsa community. I love what it offers the community. I could talk to you about anything from the mental and physical benefits of dance and just the social aspect of it and just the numbers of people that it attracts to the, can attract to the area.
And you had 5,000 with $80,000 last time, is that right?
No, we had 5,000 with, I think our grant request was 25,000 last year.
So you're looking at, with close to 200,000, you could actually theoretically be looking at 20, 30,000 people, is that what you're thinking?
Theoretically, that could happen, yes. Theoretically,
There's
that could
that
happen.
much
The most
attraction.
I've ever had at a festival of mine is 15,000. That's
Yeah, when you increase ad dollars, not necessarily you get exact numbers double. If you double the ad dollars, not necessarily you get the double, but potentially you can get, yes.
It potentially can be that big.
Right.
You know, my goal would be to have a minimum of 10,000 people show up, which would mean that we double in size.
I guess my real question was, 60,000 is not going in your pocket, it's going into the event, into the marketing.
It's going into the event and marketing, and it's been very clear and shown, we only get paid back what we spend. And trust me, I don't want to just spend money, you know? I would love the opportunity to bring a national act. That is expensive,
Yeah.
you know? I think that I love hosting the event in downtown Clearwater. I think that is something unique to me. Most people do want to move into the park. I don't. I want to stay right in downtown. I want to see it grow here. I've heard some of the visions for the downtown area, for the future. I want to be a part of it, and I want this event to be a part of it, and I want it to stay. I think the vibe of the event, at the risk of sounding kind of hippie-ish, the vibe of the event in the downtown area is different than in the park area. If you look at a lot of the Latin events that happen all over Florida, all over the country, you have a stage, and then you have a bunch of vendors in a circle around the stage. It's the same event. There's nothing different about it except for the artists and the advertising of it. This is a very unique opportunity for a very unique Latin event. Another thing about the Latin community, that community in itself is a very diverse community, you know? So this type of event appeals to a large number of that Latin community.
In the last, I mean, a lot of people were Tampa, but you had people that traveled from Miami and other locations across Florida, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How do I go back on
That's
this?
what I saw, but.
On the map.
Okay, well, just, they were coming from across the state and beyond.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
I don't know what
any
I
other
just did
board
there.
questions? for-
My only question is that, now this rolls into the next group's budget again. So even if we approve it, the next group might
They may not, but they.
question it.
They might, but
The
they
council
might
has
not.
shown a lot of support for his events already in the past, so the odds are they'll roll with this,
Probably
but
roll
they
with
might
that.
change it a little bit or whatnot, that's up to them, but
Great.
it's not his first time.
Is that understood, though?
It is understood.
Great.
It is understood. You know, I do have some concerns with that, you know, I'm ready, I've been planning. I'm ready to hit the ground running. You know, I don't know what they're gonna come, but
Would you be willing to come back just to talk to the next council at their next meeting?
absolutely.
Can
Whatever you
that
guys
happen?
want me to do, I will do.
Okay, but we can vote on it tonight, but if you need any confirmation of whatever, you could come back and talk to them directly, correct, Ann?
Yes.
Okay, so that way, that can alleviate your concerns, even though this gentleman will be there and Lena will be there, but that's 2 out of 7. So you might want to come and talk to everybody.
Okay, I'm willing to do that.
Do you have more questions on this ask?
No, I've got something, once
Once
you're
we're
done
done.
asking questions, I've got something for
Do you
you
have
all.
any more questions for this gentleman?
No, I'm done.
No.
Okay, thank you. We're going to discuss this now. Any citizen comments? But don't go anywhere. We might need you.
No, he needs to stay, but not up the podium.
Do you want to discuss after a motion, or do you have something to say now?
All right, if you are going to accept the staff's recommendation,
Yeah.
you can do a straightforward motion to accept the staff's recommendation of 25,000 with it allocated as recommended by staff. If you're going to recommend anything other than the staff's allocation, staff's recommendation, then your motion should include the reason for the deviation. You can automatically include our overriding reason in that the policy is, has lost its reason for being. But you should, if you have other reasons, include those. For instance, we use demographics and the amount of people we were expecting to get from the event and something like that. So if you're going to deviate from staff's recommendation, include in your motion the reasons for deviation.
And
Okay?
we ended
Got
up
it.
with a surplus that we weren't really counting on also, so we have the funds if we want to deviate.
And that could be,
That could be part of it too, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. So do I have a motion?
First of all, I'd like to propose a motion to increase the funding to 140 instead of what's being asked. I think that's the first motion.
You're looking at a different
No, it's
document.
That's a wrong one.
Yeah.
I think they were asking for 180.
She's
the
asking.
request was for 195, the staff recommendation is 25.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
With the request of 195, that has them putting in an additional 10 grand after that 195. So it's a heavy, a much heavier request than you usually grant, even with deviation.
Yeah.
Do you still have the motion, Shahab?
No, let me revisit this. Will you be willing to add more than 10 yourself if we increase this?
Come on back up, sir.
So yes, absolutely, I would be, I put 10,000, that based on raising sponsorship, that money does not go straight to my pocket, that money goes into the event.
Correct.
So as I raise money through sponsorship and vendors, yes, I would invest more of that money into the budget. I like the sponsorship money because that gives me more leeway on how to spend that money.
But we don't know what that's going to be.
But you don't know, there's no way I can tell you how much I'm going to raise right now.
So your 10,000 is a guesstimate also.
The 10,000 is just a starting amount, is my baseline of what I will raise through sponsorship of
Right.
vendors.
What did you do last year?
We don't charge tickets, we don't even have a VIP area.
What did you raise last year on the sponsorship?
I think it was like $20,000, $30,000.
Okay, so potentially you could raise that.
I could potentially raise that, and having the marketing budget behind me is going to help me to be able to do that. One of the things that make a sponsorship valuable is not just the amount of people that they're going to be exposed to at the day of the event, but the amount of people they're going to be exposed to through digital media. I didn't add the slide in here, but I showed you some of those numbers last time I presented to you guys of the amount of people we reached through digital media.
Yeah.
Those numbers will be used to sell potential sponsors. And obviously, the fact that we have a bigger budget, if you saw the numbers already, they were impressive. If we have a bigger budget, those numbers are going to be even better. So I should be able to raise more money,
Beautiful. Yes, so
in theory.
What was the grant last year?
I believe it was 25.
25 was last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you went with this full ask,
We're doing.
that's huge compared to last year. And the event happened with the 25.
You're going 8x.
the
Well, I
difference
wanna
would
bring-
be, thank you, we're going to chat a little bit, and, because it's such an unusual request, let us talk it out, we may pull you back up. I agree it's unusual, but I also think this gentleman has proven statistically that he can bring people to downtown. And We've never heard anything bad about his events. I'm not going to make the motion, but I think that he is an extraordinary businessman on top of it. So he will move the money into the market, and we will get more people here than probably any other event we've ever had with this request. Of course, because it's in October, the next council can amend it and change it, but if we give it a shot, I think, I mean, the money's sitting there. We've been told by the city to spend the money. This is probably the best request we've had in many, many months. So that's my 2 cents, but I'm not making the motion.
Yeah, I mean, the event last year was very successful. I remember when I went to see it.
I mean, at the end of the day, our goal is to bring people downtown. Last time, with $25,000 spent, he brought in, what, 5,000 attendees? At least 5,000 attendees. I mean, I do agree with you, Shahab, it's 8 times is a little lot. But with that said, is there anybody else, I haven't been here for the last couple of years, but is there any other person that brought in as many people?
The Jazz Holiday.
The
Jazz Holiday.
is the only one.
It's the only one, with much bigger budget.
Yeah, that
There's a
last
smaller
year.
budget.
Last year, budget
So
was
I don't really see a reason why we should not approve.
Okay.
So then I'll ask again for a motion.
Yeah.
Now that we have the right numbers on the table.
Right.
So where is the, sorry.
It's
You wanna do the motion?
195.
Right, so I make a motion to increase the funding for Southside, the district event, to total of $195,000.
I second.
Well, before
Well,
you
no,
second,
I'm
before you
sorry, you're
second,
going to have to tell me why you're
Why?
deviating,
Why
why
you
you
do
are
that?
increasing his grant from last year by almost 8 times.
Because I do believe that I'm making this motion to increase to $195,000 because I do believe that with that amount of money, he will be able to attract a lot of people to downtown, and given that he has a proven statistics of bringing a lot of people with a smaller budget, I do believe that if he were approved with a bigger budget, he can bring even more people, which is exactly what this board is for.
and,
May I restate the motion to make sure that I've
Yes.
got everything?
well, before that, I think also the other things you mentioned should be included, that our policy changed and we have a surplus on top of what he said.
Well, that's got to be part of his motion.
So do you mind adding that?
Yeah, so as part of that, I also add that we have a surplus, and that is also part of the reason why I make that motion to increase the budget.
And we don't have any restrictions anymore.
Yeah, and we don't really have any restriction anymore due to our policy changing.
So your motion is 195 as shown in the budget is submitted by the applicant. The deviation is based on the fact that the policy is no longer relevant, that we have a surplus, that that he has proven success in the past, and you can see that you believe that he will be able to increase the numbers accordingly.
That's correct.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Second by Kiara. Any other
Can we add a
discussion?
rider, because he did mention that he is willing to get more funding for sponsorship, so if he gets more sponsorships, so we can actually provide less funding?
No.
No, we can't do that, okay. But, I mean, my word of advice is that you provided the next council approves this, that for you, figure out a way to, as a repeat business for this, get more sponsorship to actually make this happen every year with less and less support as opposed to more, yeah, of course.
That is the goal. That is the goal. You know, I hope to be here in Clearwater for the next 20, 30 years doing this event. And hopefully I don't have to come to you guys for funding or visit St. Pete or any for funding, and this event can stand on its own. I don't see that I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be able to. And I think that this request can get us there.
So like Ms. Jackson and others, will you be willing to come back to the next council and reiterate all of that?
Absolutely.
But at this
You
point.
all are assuming that the next council is going to require that, okay?
Correct.
Maybe they
So
don't.
I suggest that, we're telling them not how to carry on further. We're just making our motion and let the next group handle what they're going to
Yeah,
do.
we're just educating that there's going to be a change of guard here.
No.
We won't be here next month. There'll be a new group. So you may or may not need to.
And you're suggesting strongly that the new group amend this, is what you're doing by the way you're phrasing it.
Oh,
So stop it.
Yeah, they might just approve it, right?
I don't think they will
But
at all,
Well-
but
Okay.
they could.
Okay. I'm willing to be here or do whatever needs to be done.
Yeah, I think that from what I've seen from current council members that'll still be on the board or the council and both, there's been nothing but admiration and love for what you've done in the past. And I think that's why he made the motion. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
you have a second.
We have
We have
a
a second by
already.
Kiara. So any further discussion amongst the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys very much.
Welcome. We want free sangria.
Got it.
Just kidding. Okay, 4.7, the Jazz Holiday funding, Ann?
So this request is to approve a special event funding for Clearwater Jazz Holiday and this is going to be very similar to the last request that came forward. So this is a Part A and a Part B. So for Part A, staff's recommendation is for $21,000, and for Part B, it's $8,500. So their first Part A, which is the Clearwater Jazz Holiday 45th Downtown Activation, which will take place October 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th in the green space of Coachman Park. Clearwater Jazz Holiday will present 4 days of concerts in the area adjacent to the Sound. The 24 experience will feature several free areas for the community, including late afternoon concerts. Staff's recommendation for funding this event in an amount not to exceed $21,000, which is up to $5,000 for artist fees and services, up to $15,000 for marketing, and up to $1,000 for city fees. This is how it's outlined on their budget. What they did do on their budget for their city fees, they split that $1,000, $500 through Clearwater Jazz Holiday, $500 through DDB, based on your policy that you would approve up to $5,000. Staff's recommendation is to allocate the full $1,000 that they have listed on their budget. So that gives them $21,000 for Part A. For Part B, they're proposing to produce their holiday experience here in Station Square Park. This will take place on December 7th. This will be a ticketed event, and those will be sold by Clearwater Jazz Holiday. The proceeds will be benefiting the Clearwater Jazz Holiday Foundation. Staff's recommendation for this event is an amount not to exceed $8,500, which would be $5,000 for artist fees and services, $2,500 for marketing, and $1,000 in city fees. Their budget is attached to your agenda item. It was the same thing. The way that they created their budget for this was a split 50-50. I went based on your recommendation of what your policy allows, so my recommendation was almost for the full amount of what they were asking for Part B. Their request is for a total of $56,000, which would fund operation costs and insurance needs for both. This $56,000 would be Part A and Part B. They have submitted a special event application fee through Clearwater Parks and Recreation and also through co-sponsorship. Again, this is also another request that would be, if approved, would come out of your FY 24-25 budget. That would be, again, pending the board's approval of the budget. And with that, I would like to introduce Gary Hallis from Clearwater Jazz Holiday to answer any questions.
Hello, Gary. Before you start, I want to say something to the board. Also, keep in mind, we had extra reserves rollover that we weren't accounting for, so that could be part of any of these requests, right? That's money sitting there that needs to be allocated. So we're committing different monies. Yes, we're committing into October, but we're committing money that we collected along the way. It's not like it rained from heaven. Gary?
Thank you. Good evening. Good to be back here before you guys this evening with two requests. as Ann mentioned, for a Part A and a Part B. This year, or last year, we started out with our inaugural partnership with the Downtown Development Board and our Downtown Celebration, which was a huge success before going back to Coachman Park where we had our events inside the Sound. What we plan to do this year for the 45th anniversary of the Clearwater Jazz Holiday, October 17th through the 20th, is have a downtown celebration once again, but consider it over the 4 days instead of 2 days before the nightly concerts. And what we will have with that is a paid and a free model that has individuals that can buy tickets to sitting on the green, but also to a free area where they can sit and overlook on the bluff. Downtown celebration will take place in various aspects throughout Coachman Park at the Lower Plaza or the Pier Promenade before the main events on the evening for the evening concerts. The other event is the CJH Presents event, which is our event that we've had over 20 events in Station Square Park that we've done since 2020. We plan to do that in December. To let you guys know that your funding is very meaningful and impactful to the Clearwater Jazz Holiday Foundation. It is something that we planted the seeds last year for this free event for the downtown celebration that we plan to continue, and it is very impactful. And as we've planted those seeds, look forward to continuing and to grow and build upon that relationship. So,
Beautiful.
Thank you.
More questions?
No, I mean, they've been doing it year after year after year. There's no.
How many people were last year at the event?
last year, approximately 16,000 people throughout the 4 days. This year, we're expecting over $20,000. We have a theme that we're going back to our roots this year. And what that roots is that the 45th Clearwater Jazz Holiday will be adjacent to the Sound in the large green area. So we'll have seated areas in there that they can buy seats, as they did in the old days, plus a free aspect that we're bringing back to the community to have engagement that they can sit on the overlook looking down into the venue. So we're expecting over 20,000.
And what was your budget last year, do you remember?
Budget for the downtown celebration?
Yep.
I believe it was $20,000 last year as part of our overall extensive budget that we have for Clearwater Jazz Holiday.
Wow, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you cover both A and B, or?
I did.
You did, okay. And I thought when you said go back to the roots, that meant more saxophone.
But there are going to be saxophone.
Okay, good.
There are saxophone. We had saxophone last year with Grace Kelly and everything, so
Nice.
that was fantastic, but yes, always.
So you see it traveling from the park up and down into Station Square, et cetera, like before?
Correct.
Beautiful.
Downtown celebration, bringing people into downtown corridor for the nightly shows.
So both ask, A and B is 56,000.
Correct. Similar to last year, 50,000 for the 45th Clearwater Jazz Holiday, which incorporates the celebration. And then for the CJH Presents is 6,000. I know staff recommended 21 for Part A and a little bit more than we had asked for, 8,500 for the Part B. Obviously the costs that are associated with our 45th anniversary event and the free components that we have and the impactfulness on that, the costs do generate in terms of we would request that you would consider the ask for the 50,000.
Beautiful. Any further questions?
No, sir.
Thank you, Gary. Citizen comments? Can I get a motion? Yes. Oh,
May I
one second.
request that it be, you can,
Want me to sit down?
yeah, thank you. May I request that you do it in a motion for, it's two separate events.
Sure.
It's two separate contracts. So if you could do a motion for A and a motion for B separately, please.
Okay. A motion for Part A, please.
Okay, so I motion to grant the request of $56,000 for event Part A.
No, it's 50 for Part A.
Part A is here. 50,000, Part B is
56.
6 or 8,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I motion to approve $50,000 for the event Part A because of the amount of people they are bringing in downtown and the amount of marketing they are going to do. And for this reason.
Are you including the surplus and the policy?
I'm including also the surplus that we have as a funds and the policy that anyway is not going to be valid.
Beautiful. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
So we have the motion by Kiara, the second by Shab. Do you want to read it back, Elise?
I think I've got it, but
Okay.
the motion is to grant up to $50,000 for Part A based on the number of people they have historically brought in, the marketing that they have planned, the surplus we have available, and the status of the policy.
Can I ask a question before we vote?
We have the motion, we have the second. Yes, you can ask a question.
So if they basically asking for the same amount of money that they asked last year,
Correct.
and then they brought in 16,000 people with that money.
I think they'll bring more this year.
Okay. I guess my question was that, is there a way we can increase that amount, even though they asked for 50,000, is there a way we can grant them more money?
With the same parameters of, we would need to, as we finish the discussion, if that's, we would be pushing this motion, that'd be a second motion. And you'd have to give the justifications as to why the extraordinary.
But then he has to do a presentation of how they could actually, how it would affect it.
So sequentially, we need to kill
Finish
this
this
motion
and then
first.
move forward, yeah.
This is a long-term successful event. We are not their only source of funding, and they've figured their budget to bring in an optimum number of people based on not just our funding, but their other funding available to them.
Right. No, I mean, if they have money coming from somewhere else, that's fine.
Let's, maybe you could address that question better. What would you do with more money?
I'll never turn down money because money can be impactful to what we're able to present. If I'm understanding that you're saying to increase that $50,000 ask, that's a portion of the 45th anniversary, so the downtown celebration, which we have these free aspects. So trying to be good stewards of the money and be able to make it effective and work for everybody.
I mean, you bringing in more people this year from what you said, or at least you're planning to.
Correct.
But you're asking for the same amount of money that you asked last year. All I'm trying to say is that I do want to, like, if you're bringing more people, I do want to suggest that the board gives you more money so you can bring in more people. But I guess my question to you is, I understand that more money helps, but my question is, would that help to attract even more people? Let's say if you spend another, I don't know, certain amount of money on more marketing or
Yes,
paying.
In a sense, as they've discussed, the additional dollars that it can use for digital, social, print. We have an extensive marketing campaign that we do across the board. Would that help to bring in and drive more traffic into the event? Obviously, for this year's event for the 45th anniversary and the Back to Our Roots theme, it's a new feature. We're adjacent to the sound, so there's going to be the paid aspect inside of the lawn area, if you will, the large green area with seated seats, and then the rest of it is free. How much more in terms of that we're able to accommodate inside of the outliers overlooking, that's obviously to be determined here as we set up the wet zone and work with the city with all of their different fire, police, in terms of how many people that we can put inside the.
Right. And then do you have any other funding coming from elsewhere besides this board?
Besides the DDB support, yes, you're just one of a number of people that fund and help to support the Clearwater Jazz Holiday. Mainly the city of Clearwater helps with in-kind support and a cash piece as well. And then there's partners that we've had for many years over the 45-year tradition that help to fund Clearwater Jazz Holiday. One thing that as we are doing this year with the 45th anniversary, we are bringing back a free model for that GA audience. While we'll have the seated seats that will be reserved and paid, that free model coming back again is a component that we are bringing back that community engagement, if you will, and moving forward for the next 45 years.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Gary.
I think adding extra might add complexity to, but we don't have a proposal for it.
Understood.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have more questions? Then all in favor of the original motion?
Aye?
Aye. Unanimous.
Thank you.
And then I request a motion for Part B.
I propose, provide what they're asking on Part B, which is, I think it's 6,000, correct?
6,000 was our request for the CG.
Staff is requesting 85, or
Not
recommending
to
80.
exceed
The
85.
staff is actually recommending a higher, we've got this. Staff is actually recommending a higher amount than the amount requested because it falls within the policy. So whether you go with the 6,000 or the 8,500, you do not have to justify a deviation.
I see. So I'd like to amend the motion for Part B to be at 8,500.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
So Shahab made the motion, Mikhail second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We survived. Congratulations. Old business, 5.1, CRA updates.
I'm going to give my updates from right here. We don't have much. Executive Director Jesus Nino apologizes for his absence tonight, but you got me, so, you know. But what I would like, just very quickly, on behalf of the CRA staff, I would like to thank the board. Just thank you for your service over the years, for both the current board and past board. You know, we hope that we'll be working with you guys in the future in some capacity. We know that majority of you are business owners, property owners, residents. You know, that falls right in line with what we as the CRA do. So we really hope that we'll be able to see you and work with you in the future. So again, on behalf of the CRA staff, we would just like to thank you for your service.
Thank you so much for
Our
your
doors
support.
are always open, and the coffee's warm.
All right.
Thank you, Ann. That
Yep.
was nice. 5.2 DDB attorney updates. Ms. Elise?
Okay, you all have final financial forms. Those of you rotating off have financial forms that you need to file. Those of you that are staying on have financial forms also, but get with the city attorney about that, okay? I was the chairman of this board from 95 to 97. And I have represented this board for most years since then, so I'm very familiar with it. I believe that the city council chose to destroy something that was unique to Clearwater. The board has existed as an independent taxing district answerable to those who pay the additional tax to support it for over 50 years. I'm very familiar with its history and its compliments. To say I'm disappointed in the council, and particularly the two members who sat on this board, is an understatement. Before it was amended, if you own taxable property in the DDB district, you paid an extra tax, you still have to. Under the current ordinance, under the old ordinance, you had a right to choose your representatives to determine how that additional tax was spent and replace them if you didn't think they were doing their job. You also had the right to dissolve the board and do away with the tax. The amendment abolishes all elections and referendums by the freeholders, by the taxpayers of the DDB. It does away with direct representation. You are going to be represented by the city council and two members appointed by the city council who do have to have the same ties to the community that we have, that this board has to have. The council does not. When the ordinance was amended, the property owners who pay the tax lost the right to choose their own representatives and the ability to abolish the tax. I can't think of a more clear example of taxation without representation. And I'm very disappointed, and I thought it was hypocritical.
Thank you, Elise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
5.3, so this is our final meeting, the three of us, and others that aren't here, traveling around the world, I suppose. So I'm going to start with Shahab. Final comments?
Very proud of having served here in downtown. Sometimes it was not very convenient because I had to travel all of a sudden from another part of the world or country just to come attend. And that was a privilege. And I really appreciate what the CRA did in helping us. And thank you, our attorney, for what you've done all these years with us. I really appreciate that. And again, thank you very much of the other members. It's been rather interesting and a learning experience. So it was a privilege to be part of this group. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, for me, it was an honor to be here, to be part of this group and to represent business owners and building owners and to be helped by the CRA and by you, Liz. But mainly was an honor to support our city, you know, and to create and to help other businesses to come here and to bring new people and to know our city. So I want to thank all of you. And I mean, why not? If the city council asks us to come back, why not? I would be willing to come back. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Senor.
Well, this is my only second meeting, and I haven't been here long, but I just want to say that where I come from, this is very unusual. Like growing up, I've never seen
Growing up in Japan.
Exactly. That's exactly where I'm from. And growing up, I haven't ever thought that I would see a group of dedicated citizens trying to dedicate their time and effort to help the city. And I admire that, and that's exactly why I'm here. So I thank you all for all your time and effort that you put in to help the city. And I think you guys are great people, and you did great. And I wish we see each other some other time.
And we pay for it, by the way. We do pay.
Yeah. You can send us checks.
Great. Good to know. It all
Thanks,
comes down to
Mikhail.
money.
My turn. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Elise. I've learned more about the law being part of this board than I did in, let's say, my previous business career, where I had to deal with a few attorneys. So thank you for your guidance and help, and you're amazing. And Ann, and I start looking at you, and I see Howard, I see Amanda, I see all the 7 CRA directors, and you guys are beyond helpful, that's for sure. So for me, we have a amazing city, amazing people, a new council. I come from the Chicagoland, and it's March now, so I heard it snowed a few inches the other day, and we hung up our shovels a long time ago, so I'm happy to be here. I'm involved in charities. I'll continue to be involved in charities. It was a lot of fun to be here, and we support the city. Since I've been here 20 years now, my wife is here tonight, and she tricked me 20 years ago. She said we were going to visit her sisters for a few weeks, and then I think she hid the car keys or something like that. So we brought my brother, my sister-in-law, my father is here now. He just got married. He's 86. On Saturday, we had a big party, and instead of doing the hokey pokey the traditional way, we put the left hip out, and it just fell over there somewhere, and that's how we did the hokey pokey this time. But I love the city. I love where it's heading, where it's been, and I see nothing but amazement for downtown. I was walking the beach on Sunday, and it's packed. What a great little Waikiki beach, I call it. For those of you that have been to Hawaii, we have our own little Waikiki beach, and I see the town shaping up. We have full towers of residential, commercial. We need more. Obviously the retail and dining with Mikhail and Lena and everybody is going to continue to expand, and that's really it. So thanks for coming. I hope the events we approved tonight continue to grow and prosper. The Jazz, 45 years. Were you even born then, 45 years ago?
No?
No, okay, so I was, he wasn't, but they've been at it a long time, and, you know, it's Music City for the Gulf Coast, and it's just gonna keep growing. And I see Rolex coming, I talked to half a dozen people here, I can see Apple putting a store here, why not? So, why not? This place is different than any other city in Florida, so thanks again for letting us contribute, and we'll be around helping.
Yeah.
And if you need us, let us know, Ann. Thanks and good night, and the meeting is officially adjourned.
Thank you.